Ematep,
Kemetic, Uncle Justin Neb.
Uncle Waz Jed.
What's
Welcome
going on?
to the Hoop Ba'u Ba'u podcast, or the voice of the Rams. So, how you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm good, saying I can't complain. You know what I'm saying? A little cold dealing with this weather, but you know what I'm saying? It's all good. Rod's still shining in full effect. So we gonna get through all this this isfet that's been caused by the weather, but we gonna be straight, man. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. And so we also got my Saber up in here as well today. I saw him car.
ATE Imatep Sini Senet Aquas the Jed Uncle Justin Dua Henu for listening to my for Sajum for my brothers, man. The Sabres in the building, man. You know.
Do I Saber.
Wow, hold on.
The great elder right now, man. Great teacher.
Yeah, the great elder. He's a great elder. So I want to at least show my face. I am him Necha Tepi in Canoe, in Plum Dua. And so I am one of the co-priests of this joint temple of Khanum and Amun.
Well, since we're doing that, let me introduce myself. Any in Amen, Ka Efra, Neferneb, Keperura, Him, Necha, and Tepi in per Amen, Imhu Ba'u Nuba'u. So I am Him Necha, or the lead, or Him Necha and Tepi, the lead co-chief priest of the Huba'u Nuba'u, specifically for the per Amen of the House of Amen. So stated.
And
Nice
you
to
see
meet
how he had to show me up. He had to show
Right.
me up on the medal.
you. Everybody was hitting it. I was like, okay, we doing that. I got so I know some too. Let me throw mine out there.
They had to show me up on the medal.
I'm the Himnetcha Tipawi for the Ba'u Imra called the Souls Imra. That's what it's called. And the Ami Unut as well. I'm the hour watcher for that as well. So you see a lot of the astronomy, a lot of things were plucked from my channel, a lot of things which that's what we want. We want it to spread out. We want you to be adventurous with the movement so that it can start to culminate and rekindle itself.
No, that's for
And I'm
sure.
shutting up. Look,
Nah, do I say, but we
Wow.
love the input. You paved the way. So, but I think before we get into specifics, and I know we want to do things properly. We want to go ahead and open up with a WAB. For those who don't know, WAB is purifications to purify. We want to make sure that before we get into the work, definitely before you get into any of your work that you may do with the house, what I'm saying, your temples or whatnot, your hoop. We want to make sure that coming in, you cleanse yourself, cleanse your mind, spirit, physical body, before you begin to interact with the natural or you start to engage with some of those more profound, unseen powers. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to my sin right here, my co-chief priest, Him Netcher Amen, or Him Netcher Ampu. Let him do his thing.
All right, dua. So um we'll be using a purification utterance from the pyramid text, which is, of course, if you don't know, that is the oldest spiritual text in the world. And so, well, full spiritual text that is in the world. And so we'll go into that, and that the pyramid text is generally serves as your basis for all of the rituals. Well, not all of the, but a good majority of the rituals that we see in Kemet in a tradition. So let me present screen. There we go. All right. So, oh, that's the PowerPoint. Don't want the PowerPoint. Didn't want the PowerPoint. Wanted this one. Sorry about that. This is StreamYard is new. StreamYard is new for me, so we gotta.
Yeah, we new to the tech. You know what I'm saying, but true to the knowledge.
Here we go. Back in business.
There we go.
So here we have utterance from Pyramid Text 452, and this was again adapted to the temple to our head natural Kanun Amun. And so as you learn, follow us in our future videos, join the temple, go through initiation, go through the per you'll learn how you can create these yourself and still stay true to the text and to the essence of what the tradition is. But let us first get us if you have some water, you can get you a bottle of water in a bowl or anything to catch the water that you can pour in your hands. Pour some water on your hands. Let's see, where is that? Give me a bottle of water. And a bowl. I need a bowl.
Don't forget, you can get custom bowls from our brother.
Of course.
He's making those while he's doing the. Oh, he's back already.
Yeah, I'm back. Had to go get it. After thanks for the plug.
I'm about to say, yeah, perfect shameless plug.
Perfect plug, and I will be using this bowl today. Uncle Jocelyn, made by hand by the Per Canoe House Canoe. All right. So when we get your water, first we will recite the utterance. This is also pure water that I've had. So if you don't know we'll go over how to go, create this pure water once you go through your purification training, as a WAB, which is in the per. But until then, we'll go ahead and say the utterance. Ha Kanum Amun Neb Abu Medin F Tuwar Aha Wab E Wab Ka E Sawab Uwi Heru Im Kebe Ab E Ab Shu Ab E Ab Tefnu Ab E Ab Fedu Aku Per U Heni Senu Impe Wab Ir Ek Wab Uwi Mutnu Kanum Et Neb Tuwar Kanum Es Uwi Sheshep in Ek Tep E Aha E Iyab in Ek Kesu E Kergeb Hetim Jut Id E Tim Jut Id E Ker Tim. And so now after we have recited, you take the water, run over your hands a little bit. Over your hands.
Bring it into the camera a little more so they can see it.
Yep. Oh, let me. Right. Clean your hands into the water. Clean your fingers, especially fingernails need to be clean. Jehuti gonna get mad if you're not.
That's right.
Thanks. Wow.
Clean the fingernails. And so then get your bottle, take a sip, swish, and spit out. All right.
Right.
Now,
Now,
after you
after
have
you
done
have
that, we're ready to rock and roll.
Effort, Sin. So you put on a nice demonstration for the people. So I guess next after since we already did the purification, follow along and able to also do the wild. Now we can go ahead and get into that the awakening hymn for Noom Amen.
And I exited out, and I don't know why I did that. I knew I was up next. I knew I was up next. Here we go. Okay, so let me down a bit. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Here we go. Right, yeah, right here. Here we go. Yeah. All this other stuff you seen, you can get to know all that when you. That's these are the keys. That's the gems right there. I'm going past.
Yeah, they ain't ready for all that.
Yeah.
You gotta go some things for you to get access to those.
But also, you want to learn. Look, we also do metal nature lessons as well. So come on, but look, hit us up. You want to learn metal nature? Add to your practice. Let us know. We'll teach you that. But as we start our dua, our awakening him to the Necharu of the temple, I would like you to say after I say after I will take a pause, you can say rest to, which is awaken. Okay. So rest Nefet Imhotep
Rest too.
Huba'u Nuba'u Hinu Aru Karu Necharu Necharet MES Necharu Necharet MEU Huba'u Nuba'u. You would say rest to
rest too.
Necharu Necharet MEU Waset
Rest
rest
too.
to Necharu Necharet MEU Iunu
Rest too.
Necharu Necharet MEU Hukapata
Rest too.
Necharu Necharet MEU Pet
Rest too.
Necharu Necharet MEU Ta
Rest too.
Necharu Necharet MEU Resi Maheti Imameti Iabeti
Rest too.
Na Nesubitiu
Rest too.
Nesu Mesu
Rest too.
Sheshep Hejet Iri Pen Menu Menu Pen Kanum Imen Imhu Ba'u Nu Ba'u Rest Chindu Atep Chindu Rest Chindu Nefa Imatep.
Rest too.
And that is our awakening hymns that we to invoke the natural of your temples.
And you heard them call out several natural. You did you want to tell them the natural whose names you called out?
Of course, we're gonna break it down. We're just gonna leave them in the water drowning. And so,
I got a mute. I got babies in the back, y'all, so y'all know.
all good, all good. So, as we said, awaken beautifully in peace. The temple of the souls of the rams, the Hindu or the chiefs or the priests of the voices of the temples, the Necharu and the Necharet, the male Necharu, the female Necharu who are within it. So we first address the Necharu of the temple. We'll address the temple that we are from, the priests of the temple, the voices, and then of course the Necharu and Necharet who are within it to begin our invocation. And then we proceed with awakening the Necharu and Necharet that are in again the Huba'u Nuba'u, and then we go into again the Netriu Netridet, who are in Waset, one of the three sacred places or three sacred sites. Netriu Netridet in Iyunu, who is in Iyunu, and then Netriu Netridet, who is in Hukapata. And so these are your three sacred sites, or you could say call them pilgrimage sites that are your main one of your main faculty in the tradition where we look at emplacements. And then you have, of course, the Netrinet who are in the four directions. Resi, which is the south, Meheti, which is the north, Memeti, which is the west, and Niabeti, which is the east. And then we say Na Nesubiti, this initially was for the awakening of the Nesubiti and all the spirits of the ancestors of the Nesubiti. And as we do not have a Nesubiti here, and nowadays in the current time, this term would therefore be relegated to the ancestors of course your ancestors, or if you're any ancestor, Nesubiti ancestors that you recognize. For example, here at the Huba'u Nuba'u, we recognize um Nesubiti Seti the first, Min Ma'atra, as one of the ancestors of the temple, as again, if you see our background, um that is his illustration of Khnum and Amun working together, giving him that life and power. And so he is a valuable ancestor. And then it is the Mesu Nesu, which is the descendants of those kings, or those ancestors. So that would be, of course, meet you, you and everybody that is around. Sheshep Hedjet, you have received the white crown, making this monument. Yeah, making this monument of Khnum Amun in the Huba'u Nuba'u. You awaken in peace. You awaken beautifully in peace. And so a lot of your Nechiru, when you start practicing becoming Shimsu, your rest hymns will be very important in how you awaken and address your Nechiru in the mornings, or when you first deal with them in that day.
Nefer seemed really good breakdown. Got to the awakening, got through the WAB. So, I mean, now we could probably go ahead and actually jump into the episode. That's just the prelim. That's how you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have to open it all right so we can have a good nice way out.
Already. So, yeah. So now we got the pay to play out the way. What I'm saying? We gave our proper respects. We make sure we cleansed ourselves. Now we go ahead and actually talk about some of the things for this episode. So I think before we get too far into it, I know we said our names, right? And we all kind of introduce ourselves, but I think we should probably give a little bit more background on how we got here, right? How did we come up with the Huba'u Nuba'u? How did we meet? Things of that nature. Kind of just giving the people a little bit more understanding into who we are, and again, like why we're here. So, saying, I don't know if you want to go first. If you want me to go first, say, but I don't know if you want to go. You know what I'm saying? I got to respect the elders.
Come on, come on, come on. Let's get it. So, the Ba'u Imra is one of the per ankhs in ancient, a few of the per ankhs in ancient times, but also the Ba'u Imra. The term Ba'u refers to souls. So when we talk about the souls, when you read what they call the sacred text in ancient Kemet, they call each verse the soul of Ra. So every time you read a verse in the sacred text, you're reading one of the souls of Ra, and it goes into you, into making your Ka and your Ba Imaku, justified, righteous, honorable. And so these things change your life as you read them, which is why it's important. These things were so important that they would take the instructions given to the children from the fathers, and it became your Bible, it became your Quran, it became your Bhagavad Gita, because I done seen some of the verses in there too. Being married to a Hindu for a while, few years, about 5 of them. So so these are the things you'll start to see in different texts. And when you just come back home to Africa, it's very easy to reattach yourself to what was said to do. For those people who are just starting your journey, you'll hear people say things like, "Oh, you ain't Egyptian, you ain't blah 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 blah, you not no ancient Egyptian." I didn't say I was ancient. I follow the command of my ancestors because we know we're attached to them. And not only did they prefer this for you, they preferred it for the Greeks, which is why when they came over and knew they wasn't ancient Egyptians, they started to follow it. They preferred it for the Romans, who were paying taxes, who they set up their lands. They knew they wasn't ancient Egyptians, but they knew who the ancestors were and who set up their systems, and they knew to try to follow it. The Persians, the same thing. So when you see these different groups, remember, this is Nehesi Brand walking up, walking down the Nile, I should say, to the north, and teaching the world about the universe, the creations in it, and the best ways of life. This is what makes you Ma'akaru, true voice, and this is what makes you a Shemsu, a follower of one of our natural.
You know, that's powerful. That's that right there. That's powerful, Sable. And that's man, that hits on a bunch of points that I wanted to hit on too. Especially the title for this episode is so you want to be a Shemsu or a Shemsu Netra, a practicer of the Kemetic tradition. And you just gave a perfect description of what that is and how
I'm
you
sorry. I'm
move is
sorry.
that. And so um and so yeah, Ba'u and Ra, who Ba'u and Ra, that is where I was initiated at when I first started looking into getting serious about the tradition. Um because I was looking, I was seeing different shrines do different YouTube videos or different lives, and it was okay to a point. But I was looking for a bit more than what they had been given. And so like, more sources, more what exactly am I supposed to be doing? And I got that there from I saw Saber on the video with another brother Kalam and brother Reggie. And they were going in on what exactly is the practice, what exactly are priests supposed to be doing, things like that, just on that type of nature. And so I was listening to them and I was like, oh no, they definitely know some stuff. And so I reached out and looked, saw more videos. I had to reach out to brother just to save him and see and get some knowledge and he set me up. Had a Google Classroom, put me through there, got a flash drive with so much information on that, man. I still haven't gone through it all yet. But and then from there,
Gave you
um,
5,000 books
and I don't know,
or
at least
2,000, something
I
like
think
that.
yeah, it was like a 40 gig. It was about a 30, 40, it was about a 40 gig
Yeah.
flash drive. It's a big flash drive and it's full too.
I need a copy of that. Hold up.
We got you. We got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paying for all these, but hold on, we sharing
The
this
classes is free. Look, I just
Oh
need you
yeah.
to finish your classes. And I send that, and then I do we do $50 and then I load it up and then I send it out to you. And I still owe our brother.
Oh yeah,
Here,
the
I
ones, I
owe
gotta
him.
get my ones, yeah.
They they over here somewhere. I'll be sending notes to him shortly too.
It's all
But
right.
he's
I got your offering bowl over here too. Anyway, we
uh,
got stuff to send off.
but he's correct. This is the tradition as it's been being rekindled and uh with because I realized just now that I'm cutting his wisdom. Let me be short. Uh, when you get on your path, like my path, for instance, was set by my my uncle Larry. He was like, "That's us over there," and he's from Ghana, um, from one of my cousins. So he used to make us watch Shaka Zulu and all that stuff. Then I had to literally dug my own way. Then I started seeing comedics like Saber Infudishi, uh, different Baba Heru even. And then I said, okay, I see what they're doing. But then I looked up the word comedic and realized it wasn't a word. I said, okay, now I know I got to go do some work for them because they asked us to do work. Uh, Saber Ben, who passed away, Saber Reggie, who once I came in contact with, and me and him walked the Met Museum over time in New York. I, before I met them, I said, I really got to do some research because I got to come in here right. Even Saber Tamara El Ciuda, talking with them over there with the Orthodox Comedics, um, what they thought about certain things. But what I would research and dig up was different than what I was hearing on the YouTube. And I said, I'm going to have to do some work in order for us to really push what they asked for. And so that's what I start going to the primaries. I made sure I could read. Our brother was just mentioning a second ago. We had a class with me, him, and Daniel Haru. We was going over Medu Necha, but he already knew Medu Necha before he came in the class. So, you know, the other teachings we would do on Facebook, and we would sit and talk, and I would explain things, and you have to be an open book. So he asked anything, and he would ask every. One time we had a conversation. He said, "Well, this is the soul of such and such." I said, "Yes, but Asar is the soul of him." He said, "Well, who's the soul of this?" I said, "So and so is the soul of that." He said, "Who's the soul of Asar?" So I had to show him who the soul of Asar was. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You got to be on point, or you can't be calling yourself him Natchet Tappy and calling yourself Carib priest. How you a Carib priest and you don't know how to do any funeral work? You don't own a funeral home. You couldn't bury us if you wanted to. So you you can't be a Carrie Hab. You can't be any of those things unless you actually have the study proper. So you'll see a lot of pseudos out here with no disrespect to them, but we want to bring you in to an old tradition, not these Neoplatonists. No, we're bringing you into the old tradition with the primary resource and the facts to go behind it and the practices to do these things. You can't speak Medu Necha. Well, if you don't start speaking it, guess what it's going to be? It's going to stay a dead language. But how did they revive Hebrew? Yeah, so Hebrew's now spoken. So the stuff you hear and listen to, what you sajam, filter some of the things you hear. Because if you want to rekindle the tradition, there's work to do. And it's time to do it. Now let me shut up because I'm talking too much.
Say what that's exactly why when I started, I said I need a good foundation if I'm gonna try and get um go to these other communities and try and get that true knowledge to them. I feel like that was more so the thing for me was because a lot of people they don't the a lot of flies go where you know and so not no flies when you go to gold. And so we need to be able to um put a little bit of that truth where people find entertainment. Generally is the best way I could probably put it. Um and so we need to move forward. And I learned from him and with building learning what I've known and learned from him and then looking about the Ba'u and Ra, who is the Ba'u and Ra, and that's the Hot Sapa'u, the first of the gnomes, the bond the first of the gnomes. Um and then that led me to Kanumu. And so I feel like and even then just moving that into the Ba'u, Nuba'u, is a perfect expansion of and recognition of the foundation that I got from Asar and Ka. But let me but that's just me how I got into it, into here. And but yeah, what about you? Sin, my
Yeah,
him that just sin we.
man. No, that was actually Nefer, and I love y'all explaining the background because obviously that connection was made. I made my connections with y'all separately before kind of coming together. So my upbringing was a little bit different because my dad actually my dad and my mom were very like unconventional, when it comes to being like black in America. Like the way that we came up, like me and all my siblings, like we had been to church, but that was because my grandma took us, or my cousin or something like that. Like I didn't really come up Christian. And when my parents were always exploring, learning about different African spiritual systems, and they were able to kind of bring that back and teach us, kind of expose us some like a couple of different things, let us know, kind of just be aware of what else is out there. And it was really when my dad got a hold of the Meta Nature Volume 1 by Robert Neffer, where he really started to go in and kind of expose some of the information. And so I would say that's probably where I got my first like heavy dosage of like, okay, wait, like there's heavy info out there that's from our ancestors, but I need to explore it a little bit more. And I think that's kind of how I kind of like Sabo Sar said, man, he had to kind of like dig his own path from that. Because as I started to kind of read more of the books from Raoul Neffer, I realized I was like, okay, well, hold up, this isn't exactly what the ancients were doing. This isn't exactly what they were saying. There's some parallel, but it's not from the source. I want to go see what they were saying. And so, I was always kind of around the conscious community. I started watching a lot of Cy Netter. Shout out to Cy Netter. His platform, Super Major. I was on Cy Netter like forever ago. I think I was like, I might have been like 19, 20 when I popped up on that episode. That's when I was actually living out there in Jersey, and I was back and forth between there and New York. I remember I popped up on an episode just to kind of, be on 125th and, try to build with everybody and kind of, just test the knowledge that I did have and some things that I was accumulating, seeing Shaka and some of those other, Saba and Fudishi, just some of those major figures that were already out there and kind of, see where some of my, not necessarily like see where I measured up, but more so kind of just to test some of the information I already had. It's okay, hey, is anybody else seeing what I'm seeing? Am I on the right path? Because they seem to be much more well-rounded in the information than I was at that time, but that's to be expected. I was, super young. And so, in that, on that path of me just learning more, getting further or closer and closer to the source and further away from some of the more like neo-popular renditions that kind of popped up from, Kemetic Spirituality and whatnot, is when, I met my sin, kind of going through that path, and we were watching some of the same YouTube channels would be in the comments, kind of going back and forth, like sharing stuff like, oh yeah, this, what about that? Then, that turned into us having study sessions. We going through the information, we going through all the TLA and everything. And so it just kind of built from there where he was already on this path, doing his own thing, was kind of already heading that direction. And I was already heading that direction, but where he landed on Kanun, for me, it landed on Amen, and I was going through reading some about the history. I'm looking at the primordials, like some of the, like, the Agdo, the original Netru who gave forth to existence, and then how he, Amen, had even transfigured from being a Nubian, I hate that word, but like a Nubian Netru, and really he's from the Hesse, from the south. And so his origins were so much further back than what people know as far as just like Amun Ra and X, Y, and Z. And so just that exposure, me learning more, me seeing some of those affinities and what I already had. And then of course some other things that kind of happened through initiation and whatnot. I found that connection through Amen. And so, that's kind of how we ended up with the Hubat and Nubaus, because we already had that same sentiment, right? Is that we got to give the people the real information. And by real, we're not saying that by our standard. We're going by the standard of the ancestors of the Aku. We're going back, giving the primaries, like, hey, we're going through the TLA. We're going through pulling up stuff from Esna, Karnak, and, just everywhere, all these different temple inscriptions, different papyri, X, Y, and Z. And we're like, man, we're learning and reading all this stuff. But I'm like, nobody else knows about it. Nobody else even knows where to look. Some people are still reading Budge's version of the Pert in Peru. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even going through all of that. It's just like we had developed some frustrations. I'll speak for me. I won't speak for my sin, but I started developing frustrations when I realized that there's a lot of people putting in a lot of effort into a lot of the wrong things. And so, okay, but that's why I didn't want to put that tab.
Yeah, because I was talking to one brother, he was like, "Oh, I need it's more books to the put. What? It's another book. Well, yeah, it's more than just I need. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. I'm like, man, anybody could afford it had that book. Like, yo, that's what people don't really didn't understand. And I'm like, as we had those conversations, I was like, you know what? Like, man, I want to make sure that we're doing this properly, but we want to do it organized. And so we brought together those two energies, right? Those two primordial energies of creation and then order, right? One is needed for the other. And then in even us finding that out, when we actually found that Kanu Amen is actually a nature. Like that's something that we see in, I think it was Esna. We found a couple passages that's a reference.
Lesnar, you have it in the, I think,
Elephantine, right?
Elephantine. You have it in the, I think, in the Leiden papyrus with Moon saying in his in his hymn
Yep.
as a manifestation as the potter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's that has been going back a long time, and that connection between the two natural as we see in here in the background, which from Seti the first, which is the middle, yeah, about around the middle king.
Yeah, so it's crazy that as we were doing what we felt called to do, we rediscovered something that was already there. And so that's where you get the Huba'u and Nuba'u. Is, what I'm saying, the temple of the souls of the rams. It's kind of a play on the word Ba'u. What I'm saying? You got souls, but then also that's that divine ram. So
Yeah, divine realm. Yep.
bringing it back, bringing it back. So yeah, man, it's a lot of it's a lot, and I definitely want to expose more as we continue to build, as we continue to have these, these shows. Definitely want to share more with the people about our journeys and how we got to this point, some of the things that we study, some of the things that we teach some of our students. Um, People who actually want to get initiated to the Huba'u Nuba'u will have all that information, everything set up for those who are ready to take that extra step. We definitely want to give some information out to the people, but for those who want to commit themselves to the path truly, to that, that it's named the journey, then we got some stuff for y'all already, so like already in place. So yeah, I think that was a great kind of just like a nice little taste to kind of understand a little bit more about us and how we all kind of came together. But and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but seeing from your perspective, what is the Huba'u and Nuba'u in your team?
The Huba'u Nuba'u in my perspective and how I see it was an ever growing enclosure, an ever growing institution. Um because as a who, let's talk about just the word who or shrine, we say in English. So we say shrine or temple, and things like that. But and we use them interchangeably. But in the middle nature, you have hoot and then you have the purr. And I think that the hoot is your bigger institution with that houses different purrs or different houses to different natural in this one cooperative system and enclosure where we all every niche is connected to the other niche there. They all work together. They all bring forth these needs and services that are needed for that area, for that known, for that city. For example, let's just take the so we have the Hubal Umbal, our first shrine. Look, our first two shrines: Shrine of Amun, the Shrine of Kanun. Um, we take our initiates. Say I right now have a student of Heteru, and so when she gets done complete with her initiation, her priestly trainings, she would therefore be a Hemet Netcher of Heteru in the per of Heteru that is in the Huba'u Nuba'u. She adds to us. She adds to what we can offer, to what we can offer more people because I can teach you about Heteru, but if if somebody who is a Hemet Netcher who goes into who knows that Netcher that like I know Kanun, like him Netcher, Emin knows Amun, um I can then we get more people that say, oh yeah, that's my Netcher that comes out in the reading. We can just go ahead and direct them to that part of Heteru because they have all the information that I may not be able to give. She may have gone through Dendera. like through front and back, bone to bone, like almost scrubbed off everything, going to see what they got in there, looking about Heteru, her Nubian attributes, her southern attributes, northern attributes, whatever, right? All the names of Heteru. She she has that knowledge. You can I can direct students to have that to that. If him Netra Amun has a student of a mantra, right? When he ever gets he finishes his initiation, decides he wants to become a priest, he wants to open up a per mantra, house of mantra. Maybe that focuses on health, wellness, martial arts, things like that. Um there's certain things that we can also bring forth practically from the who as well as spiritually. And so that's kind of like what I think the who ba'u is really is what we're trying to bring forth is a spiritual and practical um institution really, to where we can just service anybody and what their needs are, and it's ever growing.
1,000%. 1,000%. And honestly, Sam, that's probably the best description of it. It really is meant to be a living institution. Like you said, as we continue to bring in more people, whether they fall in, the per Amen, the per Kanum, or even if they, tread their own path to be, like you said, the per Manchu, the per hair, like the per As, you know what I'm saying? Like as these things continue to develop and we continue to have more people who have affinities with those other Necharu, hey, we welcome, you know what I'm saying, that type of development, because there are going to be different skills, with skill sets, be different mindsets they even have, things they want to develop and do that they're going to be experts at within their own right. So we want to do what we can to support, promote, develop those things. And like you said, some of the practical aspects of it as well. It's not just the spiritual understandings, but like how does that play a part in our daily lives? What is the benefit behind me doing any of these things, and what are the things that I'm going to be doing? You know what I'm saying? So, like you're talking about, different versions of canoe. Hey, you may start getting into, gardening. You might start, working in the fields, X, Y, and Z, because he does have a hand in that creation and working in the fields. We talk about the same thing with, the per almond. We looking at different things when it comes to like royal authority. So that's planning, that's project management, that's X, Y, and Z. And so we'll have different, workshops and stuff about just how to be a better project manager, or how to understand how to plan events, things of that nature. It's just about organization and establishing yourself in different ways to be able to create order, right? Ma'at, to say Rouge Ma'at in that Isfet, or that chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like to bring those things together. So yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head in the description. I wholeheartedly agree. We've had several different conversations about what it could be and what it could look like. I feel like this is just one step forward towards that overarching goal of having that true and living, institution that is going to continue to grow with its members.
It's very important for sure. And coming from the Manchu arts, and I'm actually the creator of the Manchu Mixed Martial Arts Award, right? So
Hey, you know that. Hold on.
we put that in.
I didn't know that neither.
Yeah, I created the Manchu Mixed Martial Arts Award. Uh, was that like 2000 or something like that? We had inducted one of the fighters here from Colorado, but teaching some of your better fighters, Anthony Rumble Johnson, Dwayne Ludwig, Nate Marcar, uh, even in boxing, my little guy Jose Ariano, and some of the different fighters that you may see. Those are my little dudes, and that speaks to levels of Saber and Fudishi, uh, our brother Wesley Snipes, who held the ceremony for a lot of the elder masters on television. These are the institutions that need to be built. Don't think it stops there. Remember, ancient Simatawi Kemet, or it's responsible for your doctors, for your dentists, for your teachers, for your for your for your for your so
Your dentist,
all
your
of these things.
hairdressers, your manicurists.
Yes,
Astronomer.
yeah, all of
Oh,
that. There's
yeah.
sciences we need to re-engulf and re-encounter and pick up and build upon and regenerate, so that we can trust the who, how, and what when we go to an institution of that nature. So that ankh really has a purpose other than you just, looking fly. You want to look fly, you put your ankh on, yes. But I mean, and you see all the rappers with these things. You got Young Thug with the ankh on. You got so and so with the ankh on. You got so many little,
And this,
you
and
got my.
not to
Oh,
cut
go
you,
ahead.
I'm gonna add in just that one piece. Please do not let people, if you got your ankh on, do not let people call that an Egyptian cross. Please, please. You ain't gotta
And
go.
it's just cross. 100% they gonna call it that, yo.
It happens to me almost every day. Do not, you ain't gotta go full lecture, but please do not let people get it off saying an Egyptian cross. I just wanted to add that in and say when you talking about the ankh, I was like,
Well,
I
that's
gotta
the
go
cross of the
and say,
Egyptians. No, we didn't crucify anyone on this. We gave life with this. We this was going to your nose and throat. So very true. Our crucifixion story is with Asar being separated. That's where you get 14 degrees of separation from. Um, so when Asar is taken apart and put back together and breathe life into again, we celebrate our life. We celebrate our struggles, and we also celebrate photosynthesis and the seasons. We know that in the wintertime is when they would sing the song. The sisters sing the song for Asar to come back right around that solstice period. And as soon as that solstice hit, what happens? The days start to get longer. Asar is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So you welcome it. You know it. These are the things that haven't been taught. If you don't really know, and people say the craft, we don't say the craft. We say that's what happens when you come into the house of the Shemsu. When you're in the Per Ankh, you're in the house of life. When you're in the Per He, you're in the house of eternity. That's what you're preparing for because you're going to pass on to eternity. So Una's text will tell you, I'm not dead. I'm ready to live forever in the text. So these are the things that this is what you're preparing for. You've had 3 lives. You've had one in the womb when you were an egg. You've had one in the male portion when you were a sperm. You were 2 separate beings. Then you came together as one being. Then you started to grow inside your mother. You didn't even eat out your mouth yet. You were still eating through your stomach. And then when you were born, now you use a different thing to consume. Now you can use your mouth. It's really 4 lives, but I just call them 3. And you'll have another one shortly after. You just watch yourself go through 3 to 4 different transformations. So when you transform into that golden Heru, when you transform in, not just figuratively, when you transform this here, when your cot becomes a vessel for an aku, so that when you leave, we can ask you. We can look at the wisdom you left behind. We can ask you to do us a favor. We can ask that energy and try to summon that energy to get what? That greatness again, that wisdom again that you leave behind, that guidance that we need to stay in Ma'at and off the Isfet path so that we can build things for the culture. That's the culture, being a Shemsu, being a follower of Necha, and let the Necha's path guide you since the beginnings of time. Right now, we're in decadence, so now it's that. Why do you think we're big on building these things back up? Some of y'all don't even want to be African no more. You told me you're Indian. Indian is a slur. What are you
That's a
doing?
whole nother convo right there.
oh, don't get me started, Saber.
You don't even want to be black no more. What you mean? People used to put vitamin on. They used to fight for vitamin on their skin so they could look like a saw.
Fight to be black.
Yeah.
Now they talk about we the Moors, black is a derogatory term, my brother. We white, we gotta go
You
by
never been black as a color, my brother.
the color is a negative color.
You not a color?
No, see, I'm a Bayesian. You're Asian. No.
Right.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Because how
What are you doing?
UK? Like, all right, dog. Come on.
No, no, that was put on us by so and so. No, it wasn't. It was used by us. We determined that.
Man, what? I'm like, I don't want to get into all the times that they call or the ancestors said they called themselves by Kim.
The great blacks.
That's
Nahesi would never change his Kim. Oh, talk to him, Ankh Shashank. They don't even read that.
man.
I don't know. They don't know about Ankh Shashank. They don't know about. They don't know about the teachings of Mary Kara. They don't know about what was that? One of the magical papyri. They don't touch magical papyri. They
Don't
get
touch
hurt.
that.
They get their feelings hurt when they go up in there.
You know Ptahhotep, and that's it.
And that's it.
And you don't even know Ptahhotep, but you know his name because you heard us say it before. You heard somebody. Ptahhotep is the maxims up. You know the maxims of Ankh Shashank. You know the maxims. What are you doing?
They don't read Sabai literature. They don't know about the. That's what we're here for. We bringing that back to the people. We're gonna help reintroduce some of these key literature, the key wisdom that's really needed for those who truly want to practice. You know, if you again, this isn't us giving our rendition. This is us, and if we do, we will tell you. We'll give you a heads up, like, hey, this is where we made it up. Sinaf, we did that earlier. He's like, hey, this is what this was originally used for. This is how we remixed it. You know, but we stay true to the integrity of the structure, what was the content. You know, we just switch a couple things out. So we'll let you know when we do that. But other than that, we're bringing you exactly what the ancestors said. We're going to give primaries. We're going to give the source. We're going to showcase it so you can go find it for yourself, read it, you know, try to poke holes in it if you want. But we're telling you exactly what's going on. So, yeah, very eloquently put, Saber. But with that, since now we're talking about anyway, Sidampu, I know you said you had some things you wanted to share with the people today.
Oh yeah, I did, and man, that's why I came off because my laptop had wanted to go dead. His fit don't want to let me show nothing when I need to show it. That's what you do. Things go wrong, just blame it on Isfit. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying? He don't want this.
That's what everybody else do. The devil did it.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, he was winning at first. How many episodes do we record before we got to this one?
Man, what I tell you, man, listen, we was using so many different platforms trying to get this thing out. This is episode 1, but we didn't had episode 0, episode 00, 000.
Man, this might actually chronologically this might be episode 17, even though this is the first episode. This might be episode 17. We've been working at this for a while, but you know it's all good. It's all Nefer. We're here. Nefer Ned.
Yeah, we here. So let me Well, what you got to pull up? Sin, let me put you up on first. Let's put you up first while I try to get my life together.
Let's see.
What you got to share?
I can pull something up for you. All right.
Oh yeah, Saber.
Let's go. Let's talk about Shemsu a little bit since we're here today. Let me share entire screen. Let's go here. Where's a good? Here's a good start point. Let's go into this pyramid text a little bit. Let's go right here. So I'm gonna blow it up a little bit because I know only I can see it. Here we go.
Hold on, let me
So we go to pyramid text 749.
Oh, hold on, let me see. Sin, can you go through the TLA and pull it up so you can pull it up on the screen on the screen yard?
TLA. I'm just giving them basic stuff.
Yeah. I was just trying to see.
You can get it here. You can get it through. You can go to Mercer's book and get it there, right? This ain't going to change. It's pretty much going to be the same across the board. And for those of you who are just starting, don't let nobody shame y'all into where's the prime. You know, we'll get to the primary. You know, but know that these are pretty much solidified. These have been solidified, and you know, if you've ever seen me debate or anything like that, you know I'm gonna pull a primary up there. Right now, I just need you to read. If you start to read, then the understanding will come. But if you're not even reading and everything is over technical, you're turned off. Because you know what you can do with a Bible? Pick it up and read it. You know what you can do with the Quran? Pick it up and read it. You know what you can do with the pyramid text? You can pick it up and read it. You can get technical later. So right here, take a look. This N right here represents the deceased. Say I pass away. It also represents the living. So say I'm living. Asar M. Ka equips himself with his firm or iron shining limbs. Asar M. Ka voyages over the sky to the marsh of reeds. This is when you pass away. Asar M. Ka makes his abode in the marsh of offerings. Remember, the offerings are important. Among the imperishable stars in the Shimsu Asar, the following of Asar. And that's what I am. I'm a Shimsu Asar. And as we say earlier, as our brothers covered, to say, oh, you see that in? Oh, Asarim Ka, be pure, sense thyself for Ra. How beautiful is thy purity today. Today, establish yourself among the Necharu. Today, establish yourself among those who are in the Necher today. Why? Because when you do that, what you got to do is read the next line. Asaram Ka, you climb up. You reach the radiance. You are the brilliance which is upon the eastern quarter of the sky. And in that eastern quarter of the sky is the Amduat, the righteous. In that shining radiance is the sun, which they say you see the sun folk in the morning when it comes through. Okay? And so you're righteous, and so you shine. When you say beautiful words and you know things, what do the people say amongst you? Yo, that brother right there. And so you shine. You don't look like a Puff Daddy suit, I'm saying, but no Diddy, but you shine. You shine. And you can do that dance. You can do that natural dance. Because there's a dance for the Necharu, a dance for a Asar. And this is utterance 420. So when we tell you that this is the case where you're going to be in the following of Asar, or in the following of Heru, or in the following of Kanemu, or in the this is what it comes from. Being a Shemsu, having purified your limbs, having made offerings, having censed yourself, incense, water, the simple things. That's what gets you home. And righteous behavior, behave in ma'at. Is our brother ready yet? He ain't ready yet.
Yeah, no, he hit me on the side. He still trying to do some things together, but hey, but no, that was Nefer Saber, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't really recognize. At the root of it all, it's about Seru Jamad. You know, you can find your affinities underneath any Necher or Necheret. You know, you can have any of those different practices. You know, depending on what per you're in, some of those things look a little bit different, but ultimately, it's about Seru Jamad.
That's right. You don't argue over Necharu.
100%.
The Necharu choose you.
Facts.
Here go one about Heru and Capri, right? To say greetings to you, Atum. Greetings to you, Capra, who created himself. Mm-hmm. You are high in this thy name of Ka. You come into being in thy name of Capri. Greetings to you, Eye of Heru, which he adorned with his two hands completely. What are they about to do in these next verses? They're going to tell you what Heru did for you. For you, Shemsu Heru. They say this. First, he's going to tell you what he don't do. He does not make you hearken to the west. He does not make you hearken to the east. He does not make you hearken to the south. He does not make you hearken to the north. What do you do for them, Heru? He does not make you hearken to those who are in the middle of the land, but you hearken to Heru. It is he who adorned you. It is he who built you. It is he who settled you. It is thou do for him everything which he has said unto you in every place whither you go. You carry to him the foul bearing waters which are in you. You carry to him they say that twice. You carry to him the gifts which are in you. You carry to him every tree which is to be in you. You carry to him food which is in you. Sound like more offerings. Sound like more guidance. Where you going? To every place wherein his heart desires to be. You are over the land when you are among the Haru, the Shamsu Haru. You are the gift. It's the gift in you, and you are giving a gift because it's better to give than to receive. This is what you start to achieve. You achieve a better heart. You achieve a better status. You achieve a better guidance. You learn to share your food because you have it. You learn how to eat food properly so your diet is regulated. The simple things.
Say, but I guess mom is one of the things I usually tell my students. I'm always like, man, check your ear.
You know, your ear, your car.
Man, what? Check in. What's up? You know, you can tell they feeling something. They got something on that's heavy on the heart. Check your ear, man. Check your car. What's up? You doing what you're supposed to?
Yeah, I'm
You know what
telling
I'm
you.
saying? You follow it. You know. Hey, you see, you know.
I already know. I already know they car. That's the important thing. We'll go into that. Um, but we're gonna go into that when we talk about in some future videos when we talk about these cross cultural connections we have with the car and the Ori and how that can if your Ori not aligned up, man, you just out of whack. Same instance with your car as well. You gotta keep that in check. Gotta make sure it's a tip. It's past. Um, but I also wanted to add I have one as well for Canoe. Um, this is a praise about being in his following. That comes from Esna. Let's see, Esna 3, column 319. Yes, I know you hungry. Stop yelling at me. So it starts out like praise to you. Yeah, praise to you, this great nature, August, noble and mysterious, satisfying this car with all good hymns. Praises to your good face, Kanum, our Lord entirely, the noble nature, who created all his forms perfectly in the correct method. So in the Tepa said, we'll talk about how important the Tepa said, that's the correct method. We'll talk about how important that is. Um then he says, I come forth before you, worshiping you daily. I make praise for you as first of the Necheru. I pacify you as the last of the Ennead of the Pasejet. Behold, you are the divine nature who populates the entire earth with his work. You are my Lord, and I am your servant. And then one of the first, I just go on the first verse afterwards because it's a pretty lengthy praise here. But my prestige is great through all your names. My condition exists through the command of your Ka. My body lives through the breath of your mouth. My bones are healthy through the north wind of your nose. My heart becomes happy from seeing you. Any day of seeing you is a holiday. And so that's just one text that just talks about the following being in the following the canoe. And like you said, every nature has you know, text that you talk about the people who are in their following, who are in their Emiket F. And so yeah, so that's what we do. That's what our future videos will be talking about. And we'll make sure we have everything in order. Slides. I'm talking about live streams. We'll do it. We're gonna do it right and make sure that everybody can have access to this information and know where to find this information because that's the point. That's the important part. Um, don't trust nobody. Don't trust us. Go. Always double check. That's what I was told by my the one person that put me on this journey of just finding out the truth, seeing what it really is just my civics teacher. He told me he said, listen, don't even trust me. Look for it yourself. Double check. Always double check. So again, we give you the source material, read it for yourself. If you know the meta nature, you can look at the meta nature. If you want to look at the translation, you can look at the translations. But we give you what we have. And so all you have to do is just meet us halfway and we can grow this tradition to something beautiful. Nothing.
That's right, because the metal nature is the primary. The I, it uh it's always going to be your best guide because then you can read it for yourself. You don't have to ask the question. And just like his civics teacher told you to go to the source, because what do they say? Oh, you got that from so and so. You got that from the white dude read that for you. No, we translated ourselves. We've corrected some of the translations that have been out there. Lo and behold, but when you're brand new, I just want you to get immersed. Get immersed so that you at least know what's going on, because it can be overwhelming when you take on such a task. Like the first time, a lot of you were coming from Christian background because we in America. So the first time you heard the God, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, he was like, what? Start looking around probably. Like how we get three when y'all talking about one? First time you was in Islam and they told you, oh, we don't worship our ancestors. And then they gave you the Isnad chain and said you have to quote him, quote Ibn Taymiyyah, quote Ibn Batiyah, quote so-and-so until you get to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be. You said, huh? And you had to go back to what? The basics. I just need to read this Quran. I just need to read this Bible. And that's what you do. Start at the basic blocks and we'll get you right. The him nutcher definitely get you right in this part.
Yeah, dua. That's 100% correct. Yeah, we just trying to do the best we can. Because we both me and Sin Moon, we both feel like we've been kind of stagnant on this conversation of the Christian steel from Kevin. We've been on it for a bit too long, and so we need to give more stuff that people can use. Um, and so next video we'll get on it. We'll figure out. I don't know. We'll probably talk about the Zep Tech. We got a good amount of content we can go over. But for now, this was a great introduction. I appreciate Saber, my Saber, and Soren Kyle for dropping by and dropping some knowledge as well.
Do I, son? Do I? That's my young Saber because he be teaching me too on days. You don't get it twisted. It's a two-way street around her.
You always learning, always learning.
Yeah, we with the youth, yeah, it's always something new. So Saber actually said, definitely appreciate you stopping by and dropping this. Definitely we're gonna have you on for future shows as well. Really appreciate you and do all with you.
All right. We'll end up with a hymn saying.
Let's see. Yeah, you got one queued up, or you want me to hit
Nah,
them?
I like when you be going in on yours, dog.
Let me see which one I'm gonna hit them with today.
You be on my toes.
Let's see. trying to see if I want to do one to Amin Kanoon or if I'm gonna hit one to all right. I'm gonna only do part of this. This one, this one's lengthy. All right. All right, so dua kanum amen per imnu necher hair e hoot ba'u nu ba'u nepet ta dua mu ju necher shapes kama iru f nebu imtep hesed per meher ek hair dua ek raneb ir enek iau imha ech necheru sahetep itu impehui pesejet mek tu necher necheri gereg ta mka et f neb im ek hemek im And so again, this is much longer, but this is a piece of it.
Oh
So,
yeah, no, that's that great hymn. That's that great hymn for Blue My Moon.
yeah. That's why I was going through the whole thing. I just did a little top. This the top part.
Oh yeah, no, those great hymns be lengthy. But all right, Dua is Session. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next video. Giddy Neck and Canoon.
Here, Nick and Amen.
And a Tepu.
Ooh.
I'm a top.